To this session of the Sri Bhagavatamrita, where we'll be discussing the final chapters, the final three chapters of Krishna's lotus face, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnana-mirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanamamalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Matamidam Tatra Dharana Para. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining today's session. We'd like to congratulate our participants and thank them for participating in the quiz. On Facebook, Ranjani Gopika Mataji and Ananga Mohini Gopika Mataji. YouTube, Vrindavani Mataji, Hari Krishna Madali Prabhu, and Rekha Mataji. And we thank Ananga Mohini Gopika Mataji for posting the answers to the quiz on our behalf. And also to Keshavi Mataji for posting the synopsis, and Prem Vikas Prabhu and Divyangi Mataji for facilitating the today's session. So today we discuss chapter 88, 89 and 90 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. Lord Shiva, chapter 88, Lord Shiva saved from Vrkāsura. So at the beginning of this chapter, Parikshit Maharaj asks very humbly but pointedly, I have a question. Why are the devotees of Hari, of Krishna, poverty-stricken? And why are the devotees of Lord Shiva so wealthy? Actually, Goddess Lakshmi resides with Vishnu, but his devotees are poverty-stricken. Lord Shiva, he is a renunciant. His body is just covered with ashes. He has no material opulence, but his devotees get lots of material opulence. Why? Why does this happen? So when Maharaj Parikshit asked Shukdev Goswami about this puzzling fact, Shukdev Goswami replied. He said, Lord Shiva is always united with his personal energy, the material nature, Parvati, always united. And then he is manifesting himself in the three features, in Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna of material ego. Material ego in goodness, passion, and ignorance, he manifests himself. And when a devotee of Lord Shiva worships his manifestation in any of these three modes of material nature, or any of these elements of 16 elements, the devotee obtains all sorts of enjoyable opulence. But Hari, Lord Hari, has no connection with material modes. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 5 says, the all-seeing eternal witness who is transcendental to the material nature. So one who worships him becomes free from the material modes. So they are poverty in the sense they are poor in the material modes, but they are very rich in the transcendence. Anything that's related to material modes, they may not be so opulent. And do you know, Shukdev Goswami continues, your grand uncle, Yudhishthir Maharaj, he asked the same question after performing the Ashwamedh sacrifices. Before the Rajasuya Yagya, Yudhishthir asked the same question to Krishna, that why are your devotees so poverty-stricken? And so Krishna replied, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Yasyaham Manugrinami Harishye Dhanam Shanai Tato Adhanam Tyajantyasya Svajana Dukkha Dukkhitam. The personality of Godhead said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and the friends of such poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. This is such a perplexing verse that when I favor someone, I give him distress, one distress after another. Some devotees, one devotee, when I first heard this verse, I was in my college. And during college preaching, one of the devotees had come and he told us this verse. Actually, Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. And all of us were like college students and we were perplexed. What? If we worship Krishna, We'll become poverty-stricken. We have such aspirations and dreams, one distress after another. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on? So that devotee said, don't worry. You won't get that kind of mercy. And we were like, oh, actually, I want mercy, but yeah, not that kind. So, but here Krishna is saying, if I especially favor someone, then I gradually deprive him of all his wealth. Yasyaha manugranami. Srila Prabhupada, he had a flourishing business, and he had a chemist shop, and he was actually going to become, he had a tie-up with the Bose laboratories, which were the topmost laboratories. And Mr. Bose of Bose Laboratories would have faith in Srila Prabhupada. He had this business tie. He was about to do that. But in the meantime, Srila Prabhupada's servants, they cheated him and took all the money away. And then when he was outside of Prayag for business, he was told, your business is not yours anymore. What did Srila Prabhupada do? Did Srila Prabhupada panic? Did he say, oh my God, did he go into a depression? I built this business from ground up. So many years and moments of my life and energy I put into this, and it's gone just like that. Poof. Prabhupada didn't go into depression. Prabhupada did not complain, did not doubt Krishna. Krishna, I worshipped you, I've been chanting your holy names, and this is what I get. Srila Prabhupada smiled and laughed just as he heard this news. When we hear some bad news, that is the test of our devotion. What do we do at that time? Prabhupada laughed and he remembered this verse, that Yasyaham anugranami harishye tad dhanam shanai tad adhanam tyajantyasya. Then the relatives and friends of such poverty-stricken man abandon him. It's not just that he takes away the wealth. If he especially favors, he takes away the wealth in such a way that people abandon him. Because then there is no one else to take shelter. No bank balance. No relatives. No family. No friends. He's suffering insults after insults. But why? Because then he has no one else but to exclusively depend on Krishna. Krishnaika Sharanam, of the 26 qualities of a devotee. This is the primary quality of a devotee, main quality. A devotee is peaceful, a devotee is grave, a devotee is humble. All these are qualities, but these are not pramukh. These are gone qualities. Pramukh is Krishnaika Sharanam, exclusive dependence on Krishna. And Krishna is making that devotee practice that exclusive dependence. That is the mercy. The taking away of wealth is not the mercy, but the exclusive dependence that comes by taking away the wealth and the friends and everyone else and the abandonment. That is special mercy. If we can actually react in a way that pleases Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada then says that when I feel compassion here, so Srila Prabhupada, he reacted in that way. And he said, my Guru Maharaj asked me to take sannyas. Maybe this is the right time. This is a signal I should take sannyas. Srila Prabhupada didn't complain. He just went ahead with his spiritual duties and dependence on Krishna. People can take our wealth, our position, our service, our friends, relatives, everyone can be taken away. One thing this material world cannot take away from us is the determination to chant the holy names of the Lord. The shelter we take while chanting the holy names, our sadhana, the morning Mangal Arti, reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting, no one can take it away from us except ourselves. We can take it away. We can become lazy. We can become less determined, but no one else can take that away. And Krishna takes the other things away, arranges so that we can depend on him. So, but still devotees ask, well, if the Lord is so compassionate to his devotees, why does he expose them to this special kind of suffering? Why? So Prabhupada explains, a very affectionate father, he takes the responsibility of his child. He takes the responsibility of restricting the child to play. The child says, I want to go play, I want to go play. Father says, no. And the child is thinking, my father, he's not letting me enjoy such wonderful things that others are enjoying. Instead, he's making me go to school. This is what suffering that Krishna gives is in a devotee's life. He's restricting us from enjoyment, and he's making us go to school because he's making us learn. He's making us learn to grow from this situation. That's what he wants us to, and he's coming, come to me. And he's encouraging us to do that. But we are lazy and we feel, why this suffering? And rather than learning to grow, I want that back. When Krishna takes our $10 note, he is willing to give the $100 note. But we are attached to that $10. I want the $10. I want the $10. What happened to the $10? What would I have done? If I wouldn't have done this, then maybe the $10 wouldn't have gone. But if we just be a little patient, utsaha, nishchayat, dhairyat, be enthusiastic and patient and determined, then that $100 note is coming. So this is a father's genuine expression of love to restrict and take him to school. This is Krishna's genuine expression of love to restrict the devotee from material enjoyment and to make him learn and grow. This has happened to everyone, Srila Prabhupada. Even perfect saints, Prahlad Maharaj, this happened. Dhruva Maharaj, this happened. Yudhishthir, they were all subject to their tribulations. But for what? Glorification. When the great saints are subject to such tribulations, perfect saints, they are because of glorification. When we are subject to such tribulations, it's for our purification. But either way, it's for our benefit. So then Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur asks, this is a very important verse, and many devotees get tripped when they hear this verse. So it's important to flesh it out a little more. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also asks, well, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That to deliver my devotees from suffering, I come. Okay, here you say you come to deliver suffering, and then you say yasyam anugranami, that one who am more merciful, I give them suffering. So to the devotees, are you coming to deliver them from suffering, or are you coming to give them suffering? These two are contradictory verses, aren't they? Seemingly they are contradictory. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti raises this doubt. He actually manifests this doubt in such a way that is there in our heart, and then answers it. He says, yes, that's true. It looks contradictory. Delivers from suffering, but gives suffering. But actually, in spiritual mood, it is not. Because the sunrise is attractive. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the sunrise is attractive in the night. In the night, everyone feels, when will the sun rise? When will the sun rise? Sunrise is so attractive. During the hot summer, cold water is attractive. During the cold winter, hot water is attractive. Warm water is attractive. In darkness, if we see the light, that is more attractive. If there is already light and we have a lamp, it's not attractive at all. And then if someone is hungry, then we can taste the food. It tastes especially good. If you are already full, that food, same food, does not taste that good. How does this relate to our thing? That's why when the Lord bestows the suffering, he appears again in order to deliver them from that same suffering that he gave. But when he gave that suffering, it inspired the devotee to become dependent, to strengthen his dependence on Kṛṣṇa and longing for Kṛṣṇa. That's why the devotee, Lord arranges to go through some suffering. But then at the last moment, he comes and delivers them. Paritranaya sadhunam. So first he does yasyaham anugranami, then he comes and says paritranaya sadhunam. And at that time, their gratitude and transcendental pleasure of that devotee increases so much. So it is not contradictory, but it is important. Now, through this whole ordeal of giving suffering and then delivering them from suffering, of doing yasyaham anugranami and then paritranaya sadhanam, what has happened? The devotee has developed exclusive dependence on the Lord. He has taken shelter of the Lord. He has developed the longing in separation from the Lord. And then when the Lord delivers, he has also developed gratitude and transcendental pleasure. And then our attraction to Kṛṣṇa becomes so pakka, because it is through our experience that we are attracted to the Lord. All we have to be is just keep longing, just be dependent on Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa will come and deliver. Avashya rakhibe Kṛṣṇa. If we do hearing and chanting properly, then this avashya rakhibe Kṛṣṇa will definitely come. So yes, but it requires patience. But this is a very important verse. And so he related this account actually, that one time there was a demon called Vrika. He was the son of Shakuni. Shakuni, the dice player. Che. He's the son. Vrkāsura is the son of Shakuni. His name was Vrika. He had 3 sons. One of them was Vrika. So once, Vrika, he met Narad Muni on the road. And this, text 14 says, the wicked fellow asked him, which of the 3 chief gods could be pleased most quickly? So Narada told him, text 15, worship Lord Shiva and you will soon achieve success. He quickly becomes pleased by seeing his worshippers' slightest good qualities, and quickly angered by seeing his slightest fault. Text 16, he became pleased with the 10-headed Ravana and also with Bāna, when they each chanted his glories like bards in a royal court. Lord Shiva then bestowed unprecedented power upon each of them, but in both cases he was consequently beset with great difficulty. So he gave the hint also that he becomes pleased, but he becomes angered too. So Vrkāsura said, yeah, I want quick, fast, instant gratification. I want fast food, fast car, fast internet, fast everything, fast results. So he went to Lord Shiva. Now this, Shukadev Goswami is telling in regards to Parikshit Maharaj's question about devotees of Lord Shiva versus devotees of Vishnu. So Vrkāsura, he went to the holy place, Kedarnath, on the mountains, and he began worshipping Lord Shiva. And after a long time, when Lord Shiva did not appear, he started offering pieces of his own flesh into the fire. But Lord Shiva still did not appear. And then Vrika said, all right, I'm going to commit suicide. And he was about to kill himself and cut his own head. Just at that critical moment, Lord Shiva appeared from the sacrificial fire. Stop. Please tell me, what do you want? And so Vrkāsura said, well, I want a benediction. I want a benediction where anyone who I touch upon with my hand on their head, they may die. Lord Shiva said, okay, I'll fulfill this request. But this Vrkāsura, he tried to test that benediction on Lord Shiva's head. You gave me that, I'll test it. So Lord Shiva got terrified. Oh my God. And he fled, running for his life. He started running as far as heaven. And then Vrkāsura was following him. And then he went all the way to the outer limits of this material world. And finally, Lord Shiva, reached Shvetadvipa, where Lord Vishnu resides. And from far, Lord Vishnu saw that Lord Shiva is running he's desperate. So then he understood what is happening. So Lord Vishnu, he disguised himself as a young student. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Some say he disguised as a woman and tried to make him dance. Srimad Bhagavatam says he disguised himself as a young student, went before Vrkāsura, very sweet voice he addressed. My dear Vrka, please rest, take some rest, and tell us, what do you intend to do? Vrika, he was charmed by the Lord's very, very sweet words. And he said, all right, I'll tell you. He told everything that I wanted a benediction. Lord Shiva gave me this benediction. Whoever I touch on the head would die. And so Lord said, well, this Lord Shiva, do you really trust him? Ever since Prajapati Daksha cursed him, he's become like a, hobgoblin. These are the words Vishnu is saying. Don't trust his word. What better test than you yourself testing on your own hand? Put your hand on your own head and test it. And this foolish demon, he got so bewildered by the potency of the Lord's voice, sweet voice, that he said, okay, let me test. And so he took his hand and touched upon his head. And as soon as he touched upon his head exploded. And then there was, from everywhere, there was cries that were coming. Victory, victory, Dandavat Pranam, obeisances, well done, well done. And all the devatas, all the sages, all the pitris and gandharvas, everyone, they were congratulating the Supreme Lord. They were showering flowers upon him. This ends chapter 88. We go to chapter 89. Krishna and Arjuna retrieve a Brāhmana's sons. So one time, this chapter starts with, long ago, on the bank of river Saraswati, there was a discussion among the group of sages as to who of the three chief, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who is the greatest? So they said, of all of us, let's have Bhrigu Muni. Bhrigu Muni should investigate. He was the investigator. So Bhrigu Muni said, all right, I will investigate. He went and he said that the greatness of a person can be understood by how he tolerates provoking situations. This is Srila Prabhupada writes this, especially in regards to Vasudev, when Kamsa was taking them to the jail. And here also, Bhrigu Muni decided the same thing. Greatness equal to tolerance. Tolerance is a very, very important quality. We see all the great devotees possess this tolerance. Tolerance is patience and gratefulness combined. That is tolerance. Sometimes we may tolerate, but we may tolerate with our grinding teeth. Oh, I want to kill this person, but I won't because I'm tolerating. That's not tolerant. That's just suppressed. As soon as an opportunity is there, it'll explode. That's vengeance. Everything is going inside. Tolerance is forgiveness. Tolerance is patience, forgiveness, and gratefulness. We are tolerating, but tolerating out of gratefulness. Thank you that this happened. You gave me an opportunity to grow. You gave me an opportunity to implement Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Thank you for doing this. This is going to make me dear to Lord Krishna, to Lord Chaitanya. So I'm thankful to you. This is tolerance and forgiveness. Like we have so many examples, especially Maharaj, along with Ambarish Maharaj, especially against Durvasa Muni. He was completely forgiving. That is tolerance. Tolerance means to forgive even before the offense is committed. So this is very important. That is the sure sign of greatness. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. If we are not humble, we cannot be tolerant. Someone who is humble, he thinks I'm insignificant. I'm not the controller. I don't deserve anything. Krishna deserves everything. And therefore we become tolerant. Because they know with tolerance, Krishna will protect. If we don't react, my mother-in-law was saying one time that if we don't react to provoking situations, then Krishna reacts. So this is an important point. Sure sign of greatness is tolerance. So he said, if I want to know who is the greatest of them three, I must test the tolerance. So first he entered into the court of Lord Brahma, his father, Bhrigu Muni's father, and he did not offer him any respect. This enraged Brahma. And then Brahma was just suppressing his anger because Bhrigu was his son. But Bhrigu understood. Brahma, he became angry. Then Bhrigu went to Lord Shiva, his older brother, because Lord Shiva also has come from Brahma, from the in between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma, Rudra king. So in that sense, Brahma is his father. Lord Shiva, when he saw Bhrigu, my dear brother, how come you're here? Welcome. And he came to embrace him. But Bhrigu said, don't touch me. You're full of all these, you're just a heretic. And you have ashes all around. Look at your friends. Don't do this. Don't come near me. And Lord Shiva said, what? I'm coming to embrace you and you behave with me like this? He took up his trident and he was about to kill Bhrigu, but Mother Parvati interceded and pacified her husband. Stop, don't do this. Next, Bhrigu went to Vaikuntha to test Lord Narayan. Lord Narayan was lying with his head on the lap of Mother Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. Bhrigu came without any niceties. He came and he kicked the Lord on his chest. And Lord Narayan immediately, "Oh, Bhrigu, my dear master, welcome, welcome. Please, please sit here. Kindly forgive us. We didn't notice your arrival. And is your foot okay? My chest is very, very hard. Did your feet get hurt?" And then Bhrigu Muni was really surprised. Wow, I offended Brahma by my, just in my mind. He just went and did not offer obeisances to Brahma. He didn't say anything bad to Brahma, not by his words, not by his action, just by his mind, just by his thoughts. He offended Brahma, and Brahma became offended. Lord Shiva, he offended by words, and Lord Shiva became offended just by words. To Narayan, to Vishnu, he offended by action, which includes thoughts, words, and action. Action includes thoughts and words. It has come to when we commit an offense in the mind, just in the thought. If we keep thinking about it, it comes out in words. And if we keep speaking about it, it comes out in action. So if someone is offended in action, it means he must have meditated upon it, thought about it, spoken about it, and then now he's putting it into action. And still, Vishnu did not react. He was in fact not only forgiving, he was very hospitable. So Bhrigu Muni went back to the assembly of the sages and told him what had happened.
This came back from Wikipedia.
And he said that Lord Vishnu is certainly the Supreme Personality. So this matter got settled. Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Vishnu is the Supreme Personality. This particular chapter goes again to talk about how Krishna and Arjuna retrieved a Brahmana's sons. One time in Dwarka, a Brahmana's wife gave birth to a son, and that son immediately died. This Brahmana, "My son died? It must be the king's fault." Imagine, anything happens to any living entity in the kingdom, it's the king's fault because the king did not properly execute the duties, did not properly perform the sacrifice. There was something wrong in his consciousness because of which this is happening. This was the level of responsibility of the kings. We think, oh, kings are just, they get all the opulences, they enjoy multiple women and things like wives and things like that. No, it's a great responsibility. If they even commit an offense in the thoughts, it affects the entire citizen. And this one Brahmana, his son, was born dead. He immediately took him to King Ugrasena, who was the king of Dwarka, and said, "King Ugrasena, you are a duplicitous, greedy enemy of the Brahmanas. That is why my son has died. You are responsible. You failed to execute your duties properly." And then King Ugrasena, "Please forgive me, we'll see, please try once more, this will not happen." So Brahmana was pacified, he went back. After some time, he again had another son. And that son also died. This Brahmana was outrageous. He again brought the infant's body to the King Ugrasena. "Look what you have done. This is your fault." And this happened when the 9th son died at birth. He brought the 9th son there to King Ugrasena's court. And King Ugrasena did not say, "Oh, this person is just he's a troublemaker. He comes, every time his son dies, he comes to the court." No, King Ugrasena was feeling Yes, he has all the right to come. I'm the servant. Great leaders are servant leaders. They try to serve the devotees and their subjects, not try to be the master. I am managing you, and I don't want any trouble, so don't come near me. No, they try to see what happened. And Arjuna happened to be in Dwarka in that assembly when this Brahmana came for his 9th son. So Arjuna happened to hear the Brahmana's complaint, and Arjuna said, my dear Brahmana, my lord, with a small L, I will protect your progeny. And if I fail, I will enter fire to atone for my sin. And all the assembly people were aghast. What did Arjuna just say? And Arjuna started, and this Brahmana was saying, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Vasudev, Sankarshan. None of them could save my son. They are Vishnu Tattva. You, Arjuna, you are a Jiva Tattva. You will save? How can you save? And Arjuna said, I'm not Sankarshan. I'm not Vasudev. I'm not Pradyumna. I'm not Aniruddha. I am the Gandhivadhari Arjun. I will come and protect. So he came. Why are these kings? And Arjuna started saying, why are the kings of Dwarka not coming and standing in front of your door and make sure that not even Yamaraj enters in? They are like Brahmanas. Are they Brahmanas or are they Kshatriyas? I will come. So Arjuna came, and this time, when the 10th son was born, he called Arjuna. Arjuna came there. He was standing outside the maternity ward. In fact, he had completely covered his house with arrows everywhere, with a shield of arrows. Not even a little bit of air could come through. Of course, it was so dense. That's just a way of saying that it was so dense. And then the Brahmana's wife gave birth to a son. And the son died, disappeared in the sky. And the Brahmana, what just happened? He came out to Arjuna. Arjuna, my son died. Arjuna was like, how can that happen? Who came through? I didn't even see anyone coming through. How did this happen? And then this Brahmana gave Arjuna a lot of beration. You were saying that I am Gandhivdhari Arjun? What happened now? Look, I told you that you will not be able to find him. But still, your efforts are of no avail. Just see the Brahmana, text 39. Just see how foolish I was to put my faith in Arjuna in the bragging of a eunuch. I'm not saying this is Srimad Bhagavatam saying that Arjuna is a very, very worshipable personality. Text 40. When neither Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Rama, nor Keshava, even Kṛṣṇa could not save a person, who else can possibly protect him? Mare Krishna, rakhe Krishna, mare ke. And I put my faith in you, Arjuna. To hell with that liar, Arjuna. Text 41. These are exact words, I'm sorry, to Arjuna. To hell with that braggart's bow. He's so foolish that he has deluded himself into thinking he can bring back a person whom destiny has taken away. Now, at one point, the Brahmana was blaming Arjuna, King Ugrasena. And now he's blaming destiny. And he's blaming sometimes Arjuna. This is the situation and the mindset of a person who is grieving. And this Brahmana, he continued to heap insults upon him. So Arjuna, he said, don't worry. If needed, I will go to Samyamani. What is Samyamani? It's the abode of Yamaraj. City of the heaven where Lord Yamaraj resides. Samyamani. I will go to Samyamani. He went there and he looked for the Brahmana's child. The Brahmana's child was not there. Arjuna, text 43 and 44 says, Arjuna went to the cities of Indra, Agni, Niritti, Soma, Vayu, Varuna. With the weapons ready, he searched through all the domains of the universe, from the bottom of the subterranean region to the roof of the heaven. But he could not find the Brahmana's son anywhere. Finally, he decided, I have to enter the sacred fire. That was my vow. Having failed to keep his promise, Arjuna decided to enter the sacred fire. But just as he was about to do so, Lord Krishna stopped him and spoke the following words. He said that I will show you the Brahmana's sons. Don't despise yourself like this. See, here also Krishna comes, but at the end, at the moment when everything is going to go away, Krishna comes at that time. With Draupadi, he did the same thing. He did not help Draupadi at the first cry when she asked for help. She went and asked for help from her elders, from her husbands. And then she tried herself. But when nothing would work, she surrendered to Krishna. That's when Krishna came. Even with Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, when they are about to be vanquished, that's when Krishna comes and saves the day at the last minute. And then it seems as if, this was supposed to happen. It was so simple. But if we enter into the bhava of the devotees at that time, enter into the bhava of Arjuna, in his mind, he's going to die. He's like, I'm dying now. I'm going. He's not. This is the time when we completely surrender and give up. Krishna comes. So Krishna said, I will show you. He took Arjuna onto his chariot, and both of them, they crossed over the 7 universal islands, the 7 oceans, which we described in the 4th canto, and then passed over the Loka mountain. Remember the Loka mountain range? And then after that comes dense darkness. Krishna and Arjuna, along with his horses, 5 horses, Shaibya, Sugriva, Meghapushpa, Palahaka, 4 horses. They lost their way. And then Krishna, everything was dark. How can light come? Krishna sent his Sudarshan Chakra in the front, before the chariot. And the Sudarshan Chakra, it shone like thousands of suns. It penetrated the darkness, blazing effulgence. It was racing forward with the speed of mind. And all of the primeval matter was being cut through, just like Lord Ram's arrow cuts through his enemy's army. Gradually, they came to the water of the causal ocean, the Karano-Dak Sagar, where they found the city of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, the original, the first Vishnu, the first of the avatars, Purusha avatars. Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Mahavishnu is also called Karanodakshai Vishnu, the one who is lying down and from whose pores all these universes are coming out. He was lying there. And then this was the city of Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu. There they saw the 1,000-hooded serpent, Anantadev. And upon him, Mahavishnu was lying in his Yoga Nidra. And as soon as Krishna and Arjuna came, he woke up. And he gave the Brahmana's sons. I know you have come to get the Brahmana's sons. I brought the Brahmana's sons here simply because I wanted to have the darshan of both of you, Arjuna and Krishna, Narayan, Narayan. Please, Continue to benefit the people in general by exemplifying religious behavior in your forms of Nara Narayan Rishi, Arjuna being the Nara and Krishna Nara Narayan. Arjuna and Krishna. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. Where there is Krishna, where there is Arjuna, there is victory, beauty. Everything is present there. So, good fortune. And then they went back again. At this time, Mahavishnu, Krishna, Arjuna was amazed. Arjuna was like, Krishna? What did Mahavishnu just say? He wanted to have your darshan, my darshan? Krishna, who are you? I thought you're my friend. And this curtain of Yogamaya was coming out. He was like, you are the Supreme Personality. You are even higher than Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu wants to have your darshan. You are the source of Mahavishnu. Whoa, this was a revelation to him. And so, anyway, Arjuna took the Brahmana's sons. They went back to Brāhmaṇa, back the same way. And again, Sudarshan Chakra helping them. Sudarshana Mahajwala Koti Surya Samaprabha Anjana Timirandhanam Vaikuntabdha Pradarsakam. The meaning is very, very important. Sudarshana Mahajwala. O Sudarshan, the meaning is, the translation of this verse is Sudarshan is Mahajwala. He is effulgent, Mahajwala. Koti Surya Samaprabha. He is like Koti Surya. His prabha, his effulgence is sama, like Koti Surya. Means hundreds and thousands of suns. Ajnana Timirandhanam. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya. We chant that destroy the ignorance, ajnana, like darkness of ignorance from my heart. Ajnana Timirandhanam Vaikuntabdha Pradarsakam. Means it gives the path to Vaikuntha. One more time. Sudarshana Mahajwala Koti Surya Samaprabha Ajnana Timirandhanam Vaikuntabdha Pradarsakam. So he reveals Pradarshak. Vartma Pradarshak Guru, like that, he is the Pradarshaka. Vaikuntabdha Pradarshaka. He shows us the path to Vaikuntha, just like he was showing the path to Arjuna and Krishna and his chariot through the dense darkness beyond Loka planets. So this ends. Arjuna was amazed. He concluded, only by the Lord's mercy can a living being exhibit any power or opulence. He was saying, I was being so proud that I will protect. Actually, that potency to protect was coming from Krishna only. He realized that. And this whole pastime was done by Krishna to make Arjuna realize this, that we are nothing but the infinitesimal part and parcels of the Lord. Now we come to the final chapter, Lord Krishna's glories. Chapter 90, summary of Lord Krishna's glories. It's a bittersweet feeling. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, so relishable. When we were going through the first 9 cantos, there were so many different valorous pastimes of the Lord. He was protecting his devotees. He was coming in different incarnations. And then suddenly when we entered 10th canto, in his Bal Leela, and then Pauganda Leela, and then we went to his youth in Dwarka. This 10th canto has completely different experience than the first 9 cantos. First 9 cantos, every time it was a mood of awe and reverence. Suddenly, 10th canto, we can feel that difference. So it's a bittersweet situation where we are happy that we are able to complete the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in this lifetime, all of us together. That's such a great benediction. How many people and devotees are able to do that? The entire 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the lotus face of Krishna. We are happy that we are doing it, but it's bitter because it's coming to an end, the 10th canto. But we will go forward to the 11th and 12th canto. And our only solace is that we can revisit 10th canto again and again and again. The Srimad Bhagavatam is there to relish every time. Here, the summary of Krishna's pastimes describes how Lord Krishna, he enjoyed with his queens in lakes of Dwarka, and the queen's ecstatic prayers in the mood of intense separation from him, and then summarizes the Lord's pastimes. Lord Krishna, he continued to reside in Dwarka, together with his yadus and his queens. He would enjoy sportingly with his wives in the ponds on the palace ground. He would squirt water on them with a syringe like pichkari, and then they would squirt the water back on him. And then with his graceful gestures, loving words, sidelong glances, Radha Kripa Kataksha, Krishna Kripa Kataksha. In Radha Kund and Shama Kund, there are these prayers of Radha Kripa Kataksha and Krishna Kripa Kataksha. He would enchant their hearts, and the queens would become totally absorbed in his thoughts. And then sometimes, after playing with the Lord in the water, suddenly they would address different creatures, the queens, the Kurari birds, the Chakra Vaka birds, the ocean, the moon, cloud, Kaku, mountain, river, telling them how much they're attached to Sri Krishna. And then Krishna begot 10 sons in the womb of each and every queen. Among these sons, the eldest son of all the queen's sons was Pradyumna. He had qualities, transcendental qualities equal to his father, Krishna. Pradyumna married Rukmini's daughter, and from her womb Aniruddha was born. Aniruddha then married Rukmi's granddaughter and begot Vajranab. Vajranab is the only Yadu prince to survive the battle of iron clubs at Prabhas Kshetra, which we will hear in the upcoming cantos. And Vajranab, if you see many of the ancient deities in Vrindavan, they were established by Vajranab. Many big temples, they were established by Vajranab, the grandson of Krishna, the great grandson of Krishna, actually, the son of Aniruddha. Then from Vajra were the remainder of the Yadu dynasty, beginning with Pratibahu. And the Yadu dynasty was innumerable. Just to educate the children of the Yadu, they had to employ 38,800,000 teachers, which means 38 million. Teachers. That means how many students would be there? Those were the Yadus. Then when Lord Krishna, before he appeared, many demons took birth in the human families to harass the people of the world. They destroyed the Brahminical culture, but to subdue them, the Lord ordered all the demigods, you descend into the Yadu dynasty. And this Yadu dynasty expanded into 101 clans. All of the Yadus, they recognized Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they had unflinching faith in him. Whether he was resting, eating, walking, they would forget their own bodies in their transcendental happiness when Krishna would be actually walking, eating, and resting with them. This 10th canto, text 50, it concludes with this promise of success to the sincere hearer. Text 50 says, by regularly hearing, chanting, and meditating on the beautiful topics of Lord Mukunda with ever increasing sincerity, a mortal being will attain the divine kingdom of the Lord, where the inviolable power of death holds no sway. This is the last verse of this chapter of this glorious 10th canto. So with this, we will end today's discussion. And if there are any questions, we can take now. Before that, quizzes. We have 12 questions for the quiz. What was the question Parikshit Maharaj asks Srila Shukadev Goswami in the beginning of chapter 88? And what was Shukadev Goswami's response? Second, how does Krishna especially favor his devotees? Third, whose son was Vrkāsura and how many brothers did he have? Fourth, how was Vrkāsura convinced to touch his own head? Fifth, on the banks of which river were the sages having a discussion on who is the supreme person? Sixth, what is greatness equal to? Dash. Seventh, who did the sages appoint to check out who is the supreme? Eighth, how many sons had the Brāhmaṇa lost and which son did Arjuna come to protect? Ninth, what is the city of Yamaraj called? 10th, who had taken the sons of Brāhmaṇa and why? 11th, who was the only survivor of the Yadu dynasty? And 12th, what was this Yadava's special contribution? All right, so this ends 10th canto. From next time, we will continue from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. If there are any questions or comments, we can take now. Thank you very much, all the devotees who have joined today. I see several devotees, Supriya Mataji, Rekha Mataji, Swati Mataji, and somehow my mouse is not going. Lalita Mataji, Reena Mataji, Venkatapati Prabhu, Baba Ma, and Swati Mataji, Gandharvika Gopika Mataji, Sudesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Rajeshwari Mataji, and Soumya Mataji, Madhubhashini Mataji, Geeta Mataji, and yeah, thank you so much. Yes, we are also very, very grateful for all of your association during this journey of Srimad Bhagavatam. On Facebook, we'd like to thank Ranjani Gopika Mataji, Divyangi Mataji, Narsinga Gauri Prabhu, and I think we have a question. Can you please share Sudarshan Chakra mantra in WhatsApp group? Yes, we will share the Sudarshan Chakra mantra in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Thank you, Sudesh Prabhu. We thank you for being absorbed in the kathas. That is the purpose of this human form of life. And along with the kathas, let's try to absorb ourselves in the bhava, the emotions of the characters and the personalities in these katha, because this is history and how they must be feeling, and try to understand their feelings through experiences that we have gone through in our life. This will soothe all our suffering away. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.